Every time I acquire by and found Bragan and Sam TVGH, make sure like, comment, subscribing, turn your notification also so that anytime you post a video, be say we Busam Bekebi. Every time for Papa Bakwa, our Ghana politics, more event Franklin Cudjoe. Now, ideally, Franklin Cudjoe is supposed to represent, and I say, or a member of CSOs, civil society organizations. Now, CSOs, dear, most of the time they are not partisan, and they are just like the way media see Jumano. They help in holding a government accountable, and then also provide policy alternatives, right, for government. And to say assembly back for consideration, for instance, now government FLA say, oh, we the NDP for Nekasa and TM mono. Now governments can resort to listening to CSOs, and that is how important CSOs every democracy mu. And funding also most of the time, what me say, they receive some funding from well-meaning people, both internally and externally, to help them to be neutral, so that buying bianco is at any kind of influence. But for some time now, no, since 2025, John Mahama, His Excellency, was sworn in, no, we realize as a CSOs, Ghana, no, they have all grown quiet, or they've become a kind of say almost like defenders of NDC. One such people are need the cry one pa papa a friend of Franklin Cudjoe. Now, anytime I mention Franklin Cudjoe's name, no, I tell him, say, no, we've gone to the same senior high school. He went before me, but we all went to St. Mary's Seminary Senior High School. Our school is not in proper shape. Franklin Cudjoe is we will not go and help our school. Old boy of St. Mary's. But that's not why we are here. But anytime I mention his name, I got to remind him of that. That St. Mary's is in a bad shape. And it is up to people like him, who have made some money for themselves, to go back to the hill and help. Franklin Cudjoe, strangely, has become a very strong defendant of NDC government. Adia John Mahama ye na enye papampono, Franklin Cudjoe will come and try everything possible to make it seem say eyadipa. And many people are wondering. In fact, I have also been wondering, say, what is going on? What is happening to Franklin Cudjoe? But we had this perception, say, ebia Franklin Cudjoe also a appointment in Tina was done in one to say there he's no longer criticizing or critiquing government policies, but instead of criticizing or bootlicking. And thanks be to God, and they kind of saying our suspicions proved to be right. And then Franklin Cudjoe, when your appointment, he has been appointed. Yes, when your appointment to be on the Ghana UN board B, and that board is co-chaired by Dr. Ato Forsen. And you see, the reason why we bring some of these information to your attention is because when we say there are no neutrals, no, our Ghana say Ghana politics. Anyone who tells you say you're neutral, nipa no boa. Say nipa ni a journalist, so a CSO, so a SOFO, whoever. Everyone has an interest. And you see, human beings are by nature selfish. Yeah, human beings. We are by nature selfish. And so when people are championing a particular agenda to you, bisa who say agenda nipa we a champion to me, no, what do I stand to get in it? And then things are not going well. Things are basa. But people have got themselves sorted until they cannot criticize the government. People like Franklin Cudjoe. Interesting times ahead.
Wycliffe Akwaba, Biaboko.
Yeah.
No, me ain't you, Wycliffe.
Long time.
No, see, Biaboko. Me now swear.
Hey, so Accra Kumasi now is 200.
Yes, so Wycliffe. Yes, Accra to Kumasi.
Aye, serious. See, Ghana for now, I think that we deserve what we're going through. And that voice, if you remember, some of us, we predicted this long time, way before even the election. when those time we come
Oh,
on the
yes.
platform on energy
Of
stars.
course.
Yes,
Of
it is
course.
not that we were. I mean, CSOs or maybe
Prophets of doom.
your mind penny or maybe you are not also not Ghanaian. No, but my lenses is derived from where I worked and how I see Ghana and how I see the two characters that we voted for. That is John Mahama and
Jane.
Baumia.
Ah, okay.
See, way ahead now. I have predicted on him way ahead,
Yeah.
and now I knew all this. See, and Jumayefo, no government from Kufuor and Akufo-Addo had not been well with the workers than these two. I mean, president that we had. But in most instances, they are the people that punish the government badly, especially in election or any difficulties that Ghanaian and many other countries and countries over around the world faces. I mean, all this while. Amambia Unia had not gone through turbulence, especially challenges as emerging from within or external. And these are the things and I'm sure lens man nimse yansha ibidru. One the key thing they measure the NDC is that or matter 8 years and that I feel no more. And in that field, and especially the energy sector, no, do you know what is happening? The revenue is underperforming. Ofuriata now see uncle hanging no. Oba no. SML no. What cancel no. What it means is that the petroleum streams no, upstream, midstream, and downstreams no. I will just break it down. Upstream near baby I eat to oil no. Na no money the revenue the revenue target no. Over midstream now, that's haulages and haulage of petroleum products. You good tanks in the and also not SML no money for instance, the free ship no one here pump good tanks in the and I think so you know a flow, you know, we know a flow in road no. We say tanks in the honum. Yeah, I see honum na a be
yeah, boss.
yeah, boss installations.
Big tanks are almost all.
Yeah.
National security for
Yeah. Because national security for because lines no over the years and then for the tokro koto no more chinton di kwa. No. One of the key things are SML na ye no. So what don't sako ka pipeline no kra umbenya alarm control systems. Your friend control advanced control measurement. Me, I understand it well. Maybe you see, but for your listeners, I'll break it down. See, and this way the measurement are normally to measure all. Now petroleum upstream, midstream, and downstream no, it's clearly monitored. New revenues are near. Oh, buy and wabi trap. Oh, trap that our contract the SMLD na no man. I'm say, come on. Now me my platforms, right? Many akwana koye investigation SMLD. Many no platforms with Facebook. Many back and forth. Me try because he's not a technical guy. He doesn't understand what goes on. See. And we are second you free BB agar systems. Say you know AC on a tank this one ma pump feed ekugumwa. Inipa necessary man measure. Inipa errors. Into running 24 hours a cry or workers and of course running 24 hours. There might be instances will be a kwajuma. I mean maybe attitudes of workers or anything. It be to me a friend overflow. Unya one tank overflow what bokabebre. But the system na SML kutano. So that voice it can happen. It can never happen. Real time monitoring. Ubenya record time. Time as I say money is calculated ahead of time and it tells you it do say my indication at the control room so that you can send workers directly there to stop the pump or if you are you will feed your control system that communicate to the pump and stop it. As I cry in Ipako. This were the system Ufuriata na Yunkukuno he brought into existence in our petroleum streams. Some of how we kukuno, some of how we didn't offer. Uchemuna midstream no honor no so at the end free wa na ya can downstream. The free tankers back pump stations no. A whole petroleum sector cartel be anywhere across the world than petroleum sector. That is where top billionaires Rockefeller days in America in downstream productions and it's storage and our friends say petroleum business and today and no answer could draw as Into a honor nya dia baby a me ye adwuma say ye di ho agro. Government no ma private sector memo because we who sika wo into we invested so much. Who was sika to say then you can't beat the government and he prevent private sector. Private sector no come honor deals in the bar. Just imagine say unia in barrels of one tank akrano ubiti revenue. Do you know how much we are talking about per day? And Ghana, as corrupt as we are, you put human face there. If me a petroleum holiday, me offers OMCs now, I can pay my way through and get it done easily. This is where they get their cut. Oh, buy and I'm said this guy is so corrupt. Watch him. One of the key things that they our friends say underutilize the revenues that we're supposed to get for you and I to benefit. And see, some petroleum guys, you know, they are billionaires. In fact, in Ghana, so he doesn't care about government. See, American tax systems, they tax more of the guys, you know, those guys, you know, normal, and they feed our friends poor. That is one of the advantages of tax regimes. And near the systems we now to now, but you downstream, no, I feel you share petroleum tankers, no, on track systems. In this lodu a year, ukafla ukwana so na lodu now they qua track worker no sa into car running him say ujira ya he can call you. Why have you stopped? So that we track it up to baby akwako yi tank no. Hwe na unua me ma ye adwuma me ye adwuma ho ansa na Ghana me pi. Na unua me say ade anti na me bisa boys tankers no mo sika che impo omo me refiners no. We have money. No bisa say so we need be a business set tanker drive it and say ubi I'm telling you 1,005 be a white quiet to a 30 million OCDs and I be our budget. But do you know the money that they control? Where do they get the money from? These corruptions now. Because your margins be the goods or do come over 20. It needs streamline from downstream, midstream, and upstream. Need streamline perfectly. Then the government and if Ukukuti SML reporter before and after who the tax regime component normally feed into the national coffers. Oh, by what does it mean? It means either the government connive with the OMCs and other thing and create their cards and get their money. Where who've seen this anglophone are not better, they don't know what they are talking about. Except you are insider that you have worked there before you understand these dynamics. Say what the you chief executive na say the over boss and ato na say who could read the economics in the na unia obana we nya technical line managers are omo be boa on service for na me catch
say why Cliff Minchawa no. You see the truth of the matter and say NDC for be omuni mutadia okanyina omuni SMS impact. But Ubekaya prior to Mahama 1.0 omudi adebi a business prepare the transport of the fuel. They intentionally decided to stop using it so that they themselves can buy tankers and do those under dealings we were talking about. So when Akufo-Addo came back and we restored that repair line, fuel no uses the kind of saying how do you call it? Those
pantos now usually they transfer
into to the pantos before going to the north.
Yeah.
We say first now they decided and the NDC they intentional and to most of the time most of the NDC penny for they were into tanker business. They were buying
including our JJ, our father JJ Rollins,
you get it. And it's that same cartel and kind of attitude now of Sandy Ababio. And I am very much sure it's a cartel quite written.
We see, I have a full loaded thing on my palm. I cannot even go through books and I can even tell you. See, the tilting point at which collapse it all. Any bust concurrently with one man. That time now a word I go no bust. Mubaya Hyp0cryte now it was okay because Hyp0cryte no near the Kakrana he was able to have oversight on them. Now Uja for buy no as corrupt as he is, no one ni favorite or they will be call out him the entire they call. Until that time Hyp0cryte feel concurrently where that was tall and boss at the same time. See. Now, may I have it's not a behind or maybe I can tell you.
Yeah, sure.
See, Unia, keke sapon rane to a besi a word a time. He misa say what happened at the entina almost time no. At certain particular time being an emergency. That was where because see the law was that the deregulation systems it came into being where at that time we were not able to meet 20% of our nation demand. So Bekaya, that time 2010 now SUV cars and doors on Ghana and Dinator wasn't able to meet the demand. And so Kofos was saying Tubekaya before Kofon said who na food a short to Naman for Q Neniama. Who said Kofoba any jay. When that law came into being, what the law seek to do was that percentage of margin and intimidity the nation demand no. OMCs non kokra normal to augment the activities of Thor. That was all what it did. Omupa no muhunsa law no that loopholes in the law no and omu creating OMCs no to cripple all these areas.
Yes.
Boss, me say na unia.
Emmanuel, briefly, they will come back again. But Cliff, I'll be saying time who still show and cast on YouTube, Facebook, any kind of TikTok about this whole petroleum sector. Now my host will not be breaking it down our listeners because there is a lot going on now under this government and even in their 1.0. Akufo-Addo came to put a stop to, and that somehow clandestine that has also found its way back into the system because Sankrofana are back to power. Emmanuel, good morning. Biaboko.
Yeah, Bako. Now, the voice, what to say?
Yes, I don't know.
The way I met me, I can. So, when we say na me throw a comment in it, say most of the Mimi Jumama securities, you see, I mean, we will post, and I mean, no Casano J4S. Yeah, mom.
Oh, okay. Mudin, but
okay. Now, Unimade, Mamenka Sem.
Yeah.
Mamenka Sem Kakra, I will MPP.
But what is it?
Mamenka Sem Kakra will MPP.
I was saying, those of you, you should keep it,
Yeah.
Okay.
You
okay. Na Mamenka Sem da se wa mami we so. Na menka Sem wo MPP, mimi MPP ni pa. Ye MPP ni. By ade akoso no se unse nyansafo bi wo mo platform ne so. Ena nyansa bi so omo de omuntie wa asem. Na obeka bia no, na obeka na mi kan comment na omo de ba honom na. Is too so omuntu mi sisa. Te say votarians na asem na wo ka no. Omo adwen ne say bibi e wo na ewo. Ena at the same time transport na wo ka no fiti Accra to Kumasi no. E bi graduate 2.2.
Wow.
Me can dada mi fi mi ko mi fi Kumasi mi fi de chem so mi fi de chem so me papa fi offense so na me ko enche bia 2.2 inti 200 ne kwa waka ne dodo ene bi je 1.5 so person owu dia oba kofa 1.2 no and no crap mechanic crap pepe oh inti transport ni de omu kuye nkasa omu kuye ne ye bre se nipa da se ni mi kita mba 2 me bre now omu betu ya me amount of this money no me da ahwe nkola no ye ka ne kra omu so omu de omu mfa ye ka omu so omu mfa nti dem bi no pese ye ka chi omu hwe mi wo Osu Castle me de me ben independence one no most of it no is not minim so nim na jeje ne ba no ono odi yeso wo ho na ekoso no me pese me bubo nyama bi so because me bo mo no ma beche me omo de omo nim omo anche na ma beche osisi a inti me twa so wo ade ekoso wo kole clote no is not fine at all and me dey say yeah delegate ne kwa ye delegate ne fi so because ebi mo ma beka ye ho no kra no they are most of them they are NDC o ma beka ye ho they are putting information to them. I know them na ye pay for ye ka ye nanti call ba omia ni fie e call ma announcement we ba omia say that we are all one family by we keep it there are information I call honum. Then we have to keep our information. Now, ye canny no. The friend is saying, call it clotty. So big push na omo ye wo beach honum no. Omo di ye in some say big push then. Big push na enko so boys. Bibia enko so. Bibia nyehwe enko bibia osu cast honum no. Meko twitwa picture bibia enko so. Fititama akufado yes as bridge bi na u fi honum say ship backup obetumi anante afa we ni mobile ni so no. Na wakwaji we ni na no. Omeje gum no ma sell ho poto minima me de me wo ho nti minim na ekoso. I have most of the pictures there. And omu kuye kan fo de o kan bibia omo si ebanyi na ne no munim ebanyi. So omo de omo president omo fa no. And adibi so aba collect cloth ni say osu collect cloth no I say JJ and ebe build a foundation wo. Into ye den crap na I say omo NDC ato. Yeah, something for na be from kakra na yes 1 bi wo. By inshallah ye bump I say 2028 dear. 2028 dear is right the corner.
Yeah.
It's right the corner. Me can me almost me delegate. Na me see delegate in kwa ye fie so. Ye nya hwe. Delegate o ma be join ye say ye chiche ye nya hwe. Any information almo say ni na we know.
Yo. That's it.
Na ye prison honum ne be boemu large. And to be frank with you, ye be boemu large. Ne achi omo egum. Ti omo nti na e ba be boemu no, nti omo nya awe. Me de make achi omo pon be chi me. Me that's so.
That's it, man. Thanks for coming around. And please stay safe out there.
Okay.
Now, who say what we are talking about now? And yet, you see, this is beyond politics because I always say, never be what Anka, if it will not affect me, I mean, I don't have any problem. But talk about tofu na yen bisa say ID card if our ID card but we MPP and say NDC so NDC near. If that were to be the case, Anka by now me I'll be sleeping. Because I born 1 a.m. But all these things, yen na yebre.